And I think I'm just going to introduce Mr. Marsalis, welcome him to High Point, and let him really speak to us about this great city, about what he's doing, and about the music of New Orleans. So please, please, please welcome Mr. Delfeayo Marsalis.
Thank you very much, and welcome. And again, congratulations to Margot and Mary and Molly and Tarek and the absent Sean. But great job. But it was very inspiring to hear the kind words and the honest words, I'm sure, and it reminded me of leading a jazz orchestra as I do, and how it's very important to have individuals that you can rely on and the go-to people. And that's what we've been developing for many years. And right now, our Uptown Jazz Orchestra, we have individuals who not only love the music and they love performing, but they have such individual personalities, and they always offer that up for the sake of the music. And that's one of the great things about New Orleans. So tell us about your family. How did your family become such accomplished musicians? Practice. Next question. Well, my family, I'd say for sure, we were a product of our environment. And we grew up so that there's the first four of us. We really had a good time terrorizing each other. And then Mboya was born, and then there was a long break, and Jason came along. So it was almost like 2 periods of time. So for the four of us, that would be Branford, Winton, Ellis, and myself, we were right after the civil rights movement, or right kind of as it's going on. And, my mother, especially, she was very particular, because she said down here in New Orleans, there was not a lot of opportunities for people of color in many ways, especially at that time. So Branford and Winton were amongst the first generation to actually integrate schools, not the forced. The forced integration came, I guess, early 60s, middle 60s. Well, after that, it was kind of integration by choice. So my mom was like, that's where you're going. Our Lady of Perpetual Help. And, it was a tough time. It was, it's just tough. We all were everybody was trying to figure out what was going on. But I'd say there was a certain type of strength that experience gave us. And we were always very, close-knit. And it's not, I think parents today are really protective. Man, I'm just thinking about that. I said, I was 5 years old. My mom just dressed me up and said, all right, get out. And we had to walk, I guess, like a mile, 2 miles. It wasn't like really far, but I'm just thinking about, 5 years old, walking to school. It's like, she was like, told my older brothers, take care of him. So that helped. That helped out a lot. The main thing that I would give the credit to, though, for kind of the musical accomplishment was our high school education, the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts. And we were in an old ugly building uptown. In fact, the building was condemned after we left. They finally tore it down. It's condominiums now. But in the school, they had creative writing, theater, dance, classical music, vocal music, and my dad was the jazz instructor. And at some point during the day, a couple of times a week, we would all have to performance class. And we'd have to sit there and listen at Caro mio ben, which is an Italian aria, which we all hated at a certain point. But it gave us an appreciation for the fact that all music is related. And we learned, we were analyzing Bach at an early age. We were analyzing Wagner, which is just very difficult. I'll say, if you don't know, it's very difficult. So that prepared us. We were learning really on the college level, and the teachers were acting like it's just what you're supposed to know. What we have now is a lot of students are learning the technique of jazz. So they're learning maybe the scales, they're learning the chord progressions, they're learning the songs. They can play with a certain level of complexity, but there is an utter disconnect between the musician and the audience. And a lot of that has to do with they don't study Louis Armstrong, Sidney Bechet. They don't study the older musicians because they say, oh, man, I don't want to learn that old stuff. But what the old stuff represents is a certain way to address adversity, to become triumphant in the face of, nowadays kids have access to many more things. I'll just say that, a lot of technologies. But when you hear Louis Armstrong, you hear a certain type of a resolution to struggle. When you hear Charlie Parker and he's playing that saxophone with joy and he's triumphant, and it's still 1940s America. So you hear the idea of the music and an individual's personal triumph. And today we're teaching less of that and more of, okay, this is the scale that you play with this particular song. But I'm saying that all to say, this Sunday I'm going to Dallas for a week, and I'm working with the Thelonious Monk Institute, and we're working with some high schoolers. And they asked me a month or so ago to send the music to make sure that the kids knew the music, and I sent them all the music, and I had this revelation, so they're not going to play any of that music. I'm going to make them play blues, songs that people like, Take the A Train, and I'm going to challenge them and say, all I want you to do is to relate to your audience. And the thing is that once you have that understanding, then you can take it what you want. And I always tell them, you cannot ask an audience to go into the abyss with you indefinitely. You have to let them get to know you, and then they decide, okay, we're going to go into this modern song, and you're not going to like it, but we're not going to stay too long. Improvisation, it's almost if you said, well, when you wake up in the morning, what do you do? And you could say, okay, I fix my coffee, and I, read the newspaper, but it's never 100%. Then I get in the car, and then I drive on St. Charles Avenue, and I get to my workplace, and improvising is the exact same way. Even when you have a plan, and it's best to have some kind of plan. So you say, okay, I plan to play maybe, say, this length of time, and I'd like to say this. And then when you get in the middle of it, maybe the bass player's playing some wrong notes or something. Oh, he's... Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. Maybe it's not the bass player. Usually it's the bass player. So the thing is, I know in the band, when I'm thinking about the set, a lot of times I think about it like that Disney movie, like we're going to take the audience on this journey. And it's like, okay, we're going to start off here with the New Orleans music, then we're going to play something a little happy, then we're going to play some swing, something that they're familiar with. We're going to play one more tune, a groove tune, and then pow, we're going to hit them with something that's unexpected. We're not going to stay there too long. And I know all of the folks, I can see them in my mind and say, okay, dirty old man, we save him, he's the cleanup hitter. Then we got the Reverend, he's got all of that attitude. Then we got Kyrie Lee, he's playing that lead out. Then we got Jerron, he's sitting back in the chair, he got his attitude like that. Then we have Speedo, he's playing fast notes. So the fast tune is always going to be, Speedo's always going to play the fast song. Then in the trombones, we got Big Mo, and he plays more the New Orleans style. TJ, he's going to play something country, some country blues. Then Hollywood, we call him Hollywood. Then we have, the lead trumpet player. So I'm thinking about all of this as we're going along. And the goal to me is not only to set myself up to solo, but how can everyone have an opportunity to shine? And I often ask them, I say, man, what would you like to play? And a lot of times they'll say, well, whatever you think. So the idea is to place everyone in the best position to be successful. And it takes time, but that's what we're working on. I'm going to close to just let you know, on the tables you have our latest CD, Make America Great Again. And a lot of folks have said, well, why would you name your CD Make America Great Again? And, some people like it, some people don't. It's cool. But to tell you the short story, we had finished the CD. It was going to be entitled Living Free and Running Wild. And what we do with the Jazz Orchestra is very unique, is we create songs spontaneously. It's very difficult with 15 people. So we ask the audience June the 4th of last year. Record was supposed to come out, I think, in August, September. So that particular gig, we went to the audience and said, we're going to make up a song. I said, what key would you like? Somebody said, E flat. I said, okay, E flat. We're going to start off in E flat, then we're going to go to A minor. If you don't know much about music, they're pretty different keys. And then I said, okay, what theme would you like? Someone in the back of the room, Make America Great Again. So some people like, boo. So I said, no, it's a good idea. So we set it up. It's exactly how it happened. Told the bass, said, look, we're going to play something that's kind of like an old vaudeville type groove, and then we're going to go to modern swing, have that juxtaposing sound. And we played the song. Saxes came up with a nice riff. We recorded the song. And I said, man, you know, it's not bad. We're going to go in the studio. And went in the studio and recorded it. I listened back. I said, we need to add a narration. Mr. Wendell Pierce, you may be familiar with, he's from here in New Orleans. He did the narration. And when I heard it, I said, this has to be the name of the CD. So Living Free and Run the Wild is on the CD. But it just goes to show you that had we not used the democratic process, which is to go to the audience and ask their opinion, where everyone is collaborating, the CD certainly would not have had that title.
So now, you know, it's difficult for me to keep the time, and also, so at the same time, it's almost impossible to do that. So once we introduce the bass, then the bass hopefully is going to keep the time, and then maybe we play something kind of old school, right? What do you think? Which one do you want to do? Old school, yeah, yeah. Play a little old school, but we'll do a little bit of that CJ. The big enough don't take it on. You know what it is. You know, they're trying to run lines and they're trying to just bass saxophone. You know, the bass, well, see, you know, it's like the tree. It's like the center. You never see the center on a football team. Say, well, then we got a running back, but I'm gonna just take the ball and run with it. You know? So the great thing about the bass, especially here in New Orleans, is understanding kind of that role of the bass, which is to lock it on down. So if it's just the two of us, okay, cool. Then I can play the melody, do the improvisation. Sometimes the bass will walk, sometimes he'll improvise, and we can change up like that. Now, whenever we introduce a higher pitched instrument like the soprano saxophone, then they are going to, unfortunately, trump any other instrument because they're going to play the melody. Let's welcome Mr. Kyrie Allen Lee. So now, if the soprano saxophone is playing, then unfortunately, I have to let him take the lead. And I'll just be supportive, which, okay, it's okay. I'm the fourth of six brothers, so I understand that. Who would you like to play, Mr. Lee? Trombones are in the middle, right? That's because not only we cool, we got to keep the trumpets away from the saxophone. Saxophones are generally upset because they're playing soft and they got to be in the front of the band. The trumpets, who knows what they're doing back there. But whenever the trumpet starts blowing, we got to just go a little ahead and go on with it. So we're going to bring up the top Professor John Gray with his trumpet. When the trumpet steps up, we just have to. close out